feel stressed in life? Do you sometimes find yourself asking internally, oh, why is life so annoying? Why is living so? 2,500 years ago, the purpose of the Buddha's birth was to help sentient beings escape suffering and attain happiness. Born into the wealth and luxury of Prince Siddhartha, he resolved to eliminate all suffering. After witnessing the realities of birth, aging, illness, and death in the world, ultimately, the Buddha attained the supreme, perfect enlightenment, becoming the fully awakened Buddha. Later generations revered the Buddha as the teacher of the three realms. The teachings imparted by the Buddha are methods for sentient beings to achieve liberation, which later came to be known as Buddhism.
What do you think Buddhism is? It's just about burning incense and worshipping, right? It encourages people to do good. When does it make you think of Buddhism? During times when work is not going well, or when you feel unwell.
When such wise education has already degenerated into superstition, how can the general public be encouraged to accept and learn from it? Half a century ago, a wise monk advocated for the correct naming of Buddhism. Buddhism is the education of the Buddha. He is Master Jinkong. In the eyes of Westerners, he is the helmsman promoting the idea of world peace. In the hearts of Eastern people, he is a mentor dedicated to the dissemination of the Buddha's teachings through virtuous education. It is hard to believe that this old monk, who has spent 60 years spreading the teachings of Buddhism around the world, has never held a formal title in his lifetime. However, under his spiritual inspiration, more than 200 organizations have been established worldwide, embodying the core spirit of his teachings through the Respectful Religion Society. The teachings of the Buddha are spread to all corners of the world, using various contemporary methods. Master Jinkong was born in 1927 in Lujiang County, Anhui Province, with the secular name Shuyerong. At the age of 11, when the Second Sino-Japanese War broke out, he began to flee. After 8 years, having traveled through 10 provinces and covered tens of thousands of miles, I arrived in Taiwan in 1949.
Master Jinkong, the teacher, initially encountered religion through the study of philosophy. He entered this field at a young age. Because when he was young, he often heard people say that religion is superstition. So when I was young, I had no exposure before coming from the mainland to Taiwan. He greatly admires Professor Fang Donglai from Taiwan University. He hoped that, after studying philosophy with him, Professor Fang Donglai would introduce him to Buddhism. Only then did he come to understand what Buddhism is. In the world, the highest philosophy. This sentence touched his heart. Shall we engage with the teachings of Buddhism?
Seeking guidance from contemporary philosophical master Professor Fang Donglai. Inquiring from the Tibetan High Master Zhang Jia. Mr. Li Bingnan as pure as the Buddha. Due to such circumstances, Master Jinkong, who originally did not believe in religion and held a stance of not accepting things he did not understand, ultimately found the fundamental solutions to all of life's critical issues within the Buddhist scriptures. The old master was ordained in 1959 at Lingzhi Temple in Taipei, taking it upon himself to restore the ethical education of the sages and to promote the compassionate spirit of Mahayana Buddhism. The old master believes that the true meaning of Buddhism lies in the teachings of the Buddha, and thus he steadfastly emulates Sakyamuni Buddha. He has embarked on the path of spreading the Dharma through educational scholarships. In the 60 years that followed, every moment has been spent practicing the teachings of the Buddha, while also proposing profound ideas that have a significant impact on the world.
The Old Master's collection includes 5 different translations. The Buddha said, "The great sage has immeasurable life, adorned with purity and equality crystallized." This scripture is a compilation of 5 teachings by Yang Liben that address life's problems, covering everything from being a person to becoming a Buddha, making this scripture very complete. The goal of respectful study and practice is ultimately to have faith in chanting the Buddha's name and seeking rebirth in the Western Pure Land. So, what about being reborn in the Western Pure Land? It means transcending life and death, escaping the 3 realms, and going there to study. Once one becomes a Buddha, they can return to reap the rewards in this world and help sentient beings. In the teachings of Buddhism, finding this step is a key aspect of his lifelong mission. The great perfection is right here, in this vicinity.
Time flies so quickly. In the blink of an eye, 60 years have passed, commemorated using the traditional Chinese system of heavenly stems and earthly branches. 60 years have become a family, from values to ghostly Han, a complete cycle. This brings to mind a question. In the endless, cyclical flow of life, how can all of humanity live the happiest and most fulfilling life? The answer is universal education.
In his later years, the Old Master spent all his time in photography studios, visiting various studios everywhere. There are photos of their teachers on display. And before each ceremony, they bow to their teachers before taking their seats. Under the guidance of the Old Master's spiritual strength, the Jingzong Society's efforts in spreading the Dharma have covered multiple fields, including charity, education, and the humanities.
I don't care whether there is an audience. I will keep speaking even without one. One person is fine, 2 people are fine, even no one is fine. Why is that? I want to practice giving teachings. I'm not giving teachings for others to listen to. I am practicing on the podium. As long as there is a podium and some tables and chairs, that will be fine.
On the 10th day, the Old Master does not mind the size of his audience and often speaks alone in a simple recording studio, in front of the camera. It is precisely this diligent and earnest study that has led to his current eloquence and wisdom. With daily perseverance, the Old Master has been blessed by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, maintaining an uninterrupted presence on the podium for 30 years. This was made possible by the support of Director Han Ying, and a library was established 20 years after Jianjing. With advancements in science, in addition to the Red Award, the Old Master's award-winning audiovisual materials have begun to spread worldwide. In 2005, the Old Master made his first visit to France to promote Buddhism. And in 2006, he held a grand celebration at UNESCO headquarters to commemorate the 2550th birthday of Sakyamuni Buddha. Subsequently, multiple cultural exchange activities related to religious unity, traditional education, and world peace were held at UNESCO. In September 2017, the Pure Land Friends Society was established at the UNESCO headquarters in Paris to promote religious unity, restore religious education, and advocate traditional culture. Here at the Huazang Pure Land, those working here can listen to the Master's brief talks before starting their daily tasks. The interactions in daily life and the teachings of Buddhist scriptures are mutually reinforcing. You might be curious, is this a company or a religious organization actually? You can just look it up online. When you see the 4 characters of Jinsholm Association, you will find that there are Jinsholm Associations present all over the world.
Then he advocated for mutual independence and support. So now we are focusing on supporting each other in the promotion of the Dharma. So we are interacting with the Jingzhong Nianfo Association in Okayama. A bit more. Usually, we hold a training session for ancestral worship once a year during the winter solstice. The KOC Competition Association is a resource-sharing hub. If they publish any new books that we don't have, they will send them to us, and we will also send some of our publications to them. Pingdung and the Xingbei Nianfo Hall. I have already spoken about the sutras, and this is also a treasure, a resource of the Dharma. We have sent some over to them from our side.
Under the inspiration of Venerable Master Jingang, there are currently over 200 Jinzhong associations around the world. Each Jinzhong association is completely independent, with no hierarchical relationship in personnel administration or finances. The Jinzhong Association can be found not only in Taiwan, but also in Hong Kong, the United States, the United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, France, and Malaysia, where you can find places for shared learning and practice. Venerable Master Jinkong has never advocated for an operational model led by an international organization. It is only requested that the various Jinzhong associations continue to assist each other as Dharma brothers and work closely together to serve as a model for others through learning, demonstrating faith and practice in chanting the Buddha's name, and returning to the Pure Land as the goal of study, while striving to promote the Buddha's educational mission and the Pure Land teachings. This is the address of the Chinese Huazang Jinzhong Association, located at number 333-1, Section 4, Sini Road, 2nd floor, Dian District, Taipei City. It was relocated from the original Jingmai Huazang Library to Sini Road in 1998. In 1999, Master Wu Dao served as the first president, leading the Jinzhong Fourfold practitioners and assisting Master Jinkong in propagating the Dharma without teaching. In the early stages, the focus was primarily on producing and circulating Master Jinkong's teachings in the form of gold discs and books. In response to the public's needs and the changes of the times, an online platform for Dharma propagation was established, using live streaming. The teachings of Master Jinkong and contemporary scholars are broadcast to the world without boundaries.
As for the Huazang Financial Association, its establishment is It was the year our respected teacher, Master Jinkong, Li Bingnan, passed away. So when he was studying in Taichung, he had to leave Taichung, and the teacher. His annotations were not written down, they were made with a brush next to the scriptures. They were handed over to our respected Master Jinkong. This scripture is from Elder Shia, compiled by him to commemorate Elder Shia. Therefore, the Jingtong Association was established. 10 years after its establishment, Director Han passed away. On Sini Road, Elder Chen Yushin wrote over his property for the association. So we suggested moving the disciples of the Jinzhong Association here. At that time, we also applied for a non-profit organization status. So I was living in the library and at that time, I used this scripture. So I became involved in the Huazang Financial Association, and I have been here ever since, having served in the 3rd term.
At that time, the Huazang was just established, and supporting it was a significant wish of Master Jinkong. The development of the Chinese Huazang Jinzhong Association in Taiwan, especially in Taipei City, has had a great impact on us in Taiwan. We held onto the hope for the development of Jinzhong in Taiwan, and everyone united their efforts to revive it. At that moment, it was just an idea, a thought.
The Huazang Sutra Middle School Association transformed from a communal practice space following Master Jinkong into a legally registered association, reflecting on the early days of the association when manpower and resources were relatively scarce. The continuous joining of volunteers provided a solid foundation for the association.
At the beginning, starting from nothing was difficult, and there weren't any volunteers, as everyone knows. there were few people. So at the beginning, I could say I was the only one managing the counter. At that time, I needed 3 phones, often holding one in my hand and pinching another between my shoulder and ear. Oh, there was no way to manage it all at once. I had to look after the counter and attend to guests, and I also needed to introduce some of the circulating Dharma treasures. At that time, it was quite tough. In the beginning, sometimes when the Dharma treasures are taken away, they need to be replenished on the shelf, and sometimes it's necessary to restock the Dharma treasures late into the night. When Sunday comes around, everyone gathers for group practice because our venue is quite small. Sometimes we have dozens of people, and when it reaches over 100, it gets quite urgent. At that time, I was alone, gentle, silent in the earth of my right shoulder. At that time, it was really tough. There was truly no one around. Gradually, volunteers started to come in. Slowly the work became more manageable. So, there was this association, this unit. There must be a system in place, referred to as its regulations. We have never. I haven't had any exposure to that. I don't have that experience. So at the beginning, I was born. I also don't know.
How get there? In facing this situation, at this moment, because the Chinese Huazang Hong Association has few connections, and only one Master Zhuangxing, there aren't enough people. There's no way to say much. We can only have the name of the association, but there is no organizational structure inside. When I arrived, I thought, we should build this up and organize the structure of the association. So, gradually, piece it together and then slowly develop it. How to interact with the government management units. How is it? I'm clearer about handling official documents, so when someone comes to take over, I slowly teach them.
I started my journey because I saw Master Jinkong discussing the Infinite Life Sutra on television and thought, he explains it very well. Then he mentioned that if anyone wanted to obtain the scriptures, they could go to Jimei Library, and he displayed his address. So I followed that pillar to run to Jimei Library to request the scriptures. It was a fortunate coincidence that I arrived at the Huazang Sutra Society, where my master was cooking Dharma. A master gave me the business card for Sinivode as it was being prepared at that time. Following the information on the card, I arrived at number 333-1, second floor, section 4 of Sinivode. This place, well, it was my first time coming to the Huazang Sutra Society to request scriptures. Because of this reason, and since there was chanting to be done here, I decided to participate in the chanting. I participated in volunteer work, and due to this connection, I did it for several months. One day, my senior brother, Master Juanyan, came to the counter and asked me if I could ordain as a monk. So, I became a monk on January 22nd, 1989. At that time, our population was very small, and there were few of us brothers and sisters. On that day, in the 89th year of the Republic, Master Juanyan, who was in charge, gradually accepted many students behind me. That year, it was Master Shuang Xiang, Master Shuang Ping, Master Shuang Shi, and Master Shuang Hui. That year we received many fellow disciples, and then we started with my master, promoting the Dharma domestically. All right, then, well, the domestic situation with the red and yellow was first in the country, and then it moved to overseas.
The Huazang Sutra Society aims to use learning as a foundation to promote faith in the chanting of the Infinite Life Sutra, aiming to return to a pure land, purify society, and inspire hearts through traditional cultural values of filial piety and respect for teachers, to adhere to worldly principles, unite religious groups, and advocate for religious education as a means to promote customs, is a good approach to benefit society. With this belief, we strive tirelessly to promote the educational mission of the Buddha and the flourishing of the Pure Land teachings.
Our master, is a very filial student, and he definitely follows the teachings of our Grandmaster. Because our construction work moved from to Singapore and then to Australia. Then I went to France, where UNESCO has become internationalized, so whenever there are many activities, we would always call on my master to support these events. Gradually, we have also become more organized, with members from each group appearing one after another. This has given us the ability to support all of Master Jinkong's activities. For example, our first time fully supporting Master Jinkong in launching this event on the world stage was in 2006. In France, the Buddhist movement. This is our construction instruction, and our master will follow through accordingly. That cooperation is all about full support. Next, we will introduce our construction visit to the United Kingdom, so we will start in London. After the event in London, we felt time to go through the University of Wales. Last year, we have already held events for 3 consecutive years. This also reflects my master's intentions regarding the construction he wants to undertake. We all strive to cooperate fully with our master.
Master Jinkong's educational philosophy is established through the continuous efforts of the Huazang Sutra Society. Implement various activities to bring practice into our daily lives. On fixed fasting days of the month, 6 days are dedicated to nurturing the mind and cultivating a pure heart. Embracing the compassion of Buddha reflects the belief in the equality of all beings. Hold activities for the release of life and fellowship. We hope for world peace and the happiness of the people. The Huazang Sutra Society gathers all good forces to achieve charitable care through selfless dedication. The 1999 Taiwan 9/21 earthquake caused severe disaster, and the Huazang Sutra Society provided immediate disaster relief donations. In various parts of the world, such as during floods, storms, tsunamis, earthquakes, and gas explosions, the warm acts of kindness from the Huazang Sutra Society can be seen in their support for orphanages and end-of-life care. They provide comfort to wounded hearts. Master Wu Dao follows the teachings of Master Jinkong, offering alms to the 10 directions. All efforts are focused on the production and distribution of CDS and scriptures, striving for exquisite quality in the Dharma treasures and making them available for free to the public. This is the best way to express lifelong gratitude.
The purpose of the Huazang Sutra Society is to disseminate the teachings of our Venerable Master. Around 1999 to 2000, the audiovisual products we had at that time were audio tapes and VCDs. As for the printed part, we only have some ordinary books from before. Later on, we have organized the teachings of the elder monks, and we have also published our own books. The entire publishing model has changed a bit, as we have started to produce our own materials from the Huazang. At the beginning, there was no Dharma Treasure Group. There wasn't a very clear structure. There is a formal staff member inside, and everyone else is, well, our fellow practitioners and brothers in the Dharma. The instruction from our Secretary General is to help make the Dharma Treasure Group operate more smoothly and perfectly. So, how can we streamline the entire workflow of the Dharma Treasure Group? We need to draft a clear working procedure. At that time, I did not fully understand the production aspects. Then later, I slowly began to understand, including intellectual property and our family's CD manufacturing factory. I require them to ensure that everything is legal. Therefore, our Huazang materials will not have any issues worldwide.
The treasures circulated by the Huazang Sutra Society include CDs, books, chanting devices, SD cards, statues of bodhisattvas, novice monk figurines, prayer books, bookmarks, Buddhist cards, scrolls, and Buddha statues. It even involves printing the sutra for libraries and scripture and medicine. University libraries around the world spare no effort in promoting and preserving culture. When there are no major events, the volunteers are responsible for these everyday, subtle tasks. However, they can feel the joy of the Dharma coming from practicing the 6 perfections through their small actions. Such wisdom in life may be the best spiritual nourishment that the Huazang Sutra Society can offer them. Master Wu Dao upholds the principle of sharing the Dharma without personal gain, tirelessly circulating the Dharma treasures and organizing Huazang moral lectures to promote education and ethical teachings in the United Kingdom. Many people have thus changed the direction of their lives, opening up a future filled with happiness and wisdom, and ultimately achieving the goals of purifying hearts and stabilizing society.
The Huazang Sutra Society he aims to uphold